Welcome to the lifestyles of the strange and exotic. Awkwardly doing this review after everyone has gone to bed, hoping I'm not going to be bothered. I am redoing this review because my brain was all over the place the other 2 times I attempted this, and I kind of sort of forgot Phil. Explain to me why he's been glowering at me. I think you can see him. Say hi, Phil. So, trying not to squeak. So, this book was sent to me from an awesome person way off in other shores. When you get something that says Royal Mail, you feel like, has the Queen touched this? I don't know. So, thank you very much to that individual. Hello. And I am reviewing Spock Messiah. And since it was a, old-fashioned book with pages, I brought out my old Star Trek bookmarks. I used my favorite one with the command gold Dooflickamwiki. Does this have like a name? A tassel. This is my other Captain Kirk. And I have a Spock, which I didn't realize I should have used for this book. Carrying on. Now, this was a fairly quick read. I got it, picked it up on the anniversary of Star Trek. And maybe 3 or 4 days later finished it. So it was a very quick read, but it was an interesting read because of the way, not really the way they set it up. The threat in the book is Spock, who has been taken over by his DOP. Now, when I first read the first few pages, I'm thinking, how in the hell can Starfleet think this is a good idea? You know, the bureaucrats in, Starfleet Command are like, well, hey, we can just plug into our people on starships into, aliens we have no idea about, and nothing will go wrong. But basically, that's kind of what it was, where people from the Enterprise are chosen to matched up with people on a newly discovered planet. And the idea being, they don't necessarily take over the personality, they sort of learn everything that individual knows, so they can learn the language and they adapt their mannerisms and skills and sort of become an echo of the person. It's never mentioned if it goes both ways. But, of course, something kind of goes wrong. Spock is connected to a megalomaniacal religious fanatic who wants to take over the planet. And the back of the book goes, Spock Messiah, Star Trek novel. Beaming down to the unvisited planet Kryos, the crew of the Enterprise experiment with a new telepathic investigation device that links them with the minds of the Kryosians, who are sort of not Neanderthal, but medieval era type people. But an error makes Spock the telepathic captive of a man, a paranoid wandering preacher who believes he has been chosen to purge the planet of sin. And when Spock's Vulcan genius is linked to the preacher's spellbinding power, a holy war breaks out for control of Kryos. The only way Captain Kirk can save the planet and the lives of his crew is by killing Spock. The wild thing about this book is you never really deal with Spock and what's going on with him to see him actively be a threat till near the end of the book. He's more of a shadow over the rest of the book, and you're always dealing with Kirk and McCoy and the crew trying to deal with what he's doing or what he might do, sort of to stop him before he starts. And the twist at the end I did not see coming. I was rather surprised. So this is a very differently written book, but it didn't disappoint me in the least. I mean, it kept my interest very quickly. Some Trek novels are like, why am I reading this? But this was really well done. It's nice to see a different way of a book being written, not having to deal with going back and forth between the good guys and the bad guys. You really don't know what Spock is doing. You kind of know that through the shadow that he casts and repercussions, and I liked that about the book, but the whole idea that Starfleet thinks that was a good idea, I didn't. Because you know it's going to go wrong. There's one character you kind of feel sorry for because she's sort of the catalyst, though not. Picture a female Spock who ends up being totally opposite of what she starts out as, with all the experiences she had to deal with. Some of the characters that come across are rather funny. And this came out, Corgi edition, published 1977, copyright 1976. So this came out sort of just after the show ends, and the movies just started to become an idea, I think. So you kind of wonder, because they describe some of the characters like Scotty never had red hair. Jimmy Doohan had like dark brown hair. Kirk's eyes aren't brown, they were hazel. It's like, so you kind of wonder if they were kind of going by what they remember of the original show. Of course, it doesn't help that I suppose all the pictures back then were black and white. I don't know. A little before my time, what do I know? So it's kind of interesting to kind of wonder, because I don't know how soon they started doing reruns, because I came in, good ways into Next Gen. And the only reason I started watching Next Gen was because of LeVar Burton and Reading Rainbow. So, yeah. I enjoyed this book. It was a fun read, a quick read. Most of the characters are pretty right on. Kirk is a lot more lighthearted in this book. Sometimes he's just so not him. I like the fact that they got the more fun part of him while still being serious and still being the captain. But in some ways I kind of wish they hung out with Spock a little more, but it would have probably ruined the twist ending. So I very much liked this. This was Theodore R. Cogswell and Charles A. Spano who put this together. And it's funny to go back and see UK 60 pence, Australia 175. But I thought Australia used the well, they wouldn't use the euro, but the pound symbol. They got the American dollar sign, so do they use American type dollars? I don't know. I don't know what the currency was in the 70s. I'm just curious. And they have a whole list of cool stuff in the back. The Corgi has at this. Ooh, they even did Anne McCaffrey, James Blish. Just reading the tidbits on the back there. So, so I thought this review made a little more sense. You could probably still get these on Amazon, maybe. I haven't looked, because this is one of the older books when they could actually put in a story in a single novel, not the 15 different volumes you need now. Like Star Trek Titan, don't bother. It's like when you spend like 15 books introducing characters you don't give two shits about. The old books are the best books because they're more accurate to the characters, and you don't need 15 of them to get a story. So if you can find some of the classic novels, pick them up. That's why they're my favorite. So, oh, I almost thought there was a picture, page missing. So I shall leave you with a hint of the book. Display the profile of Commander Spock's Kryosian link. Working, the computer replied again. A moment later, the monitor screen was filled with the glowing green lines of a Kryosian personality file. McCoy rose partway out of his seat. My God! He exploded. What's the matter, Bones? Kirk asked, moving toward the monitor screen. That's the profile of a madman. If Spock is hooked into that, no wonder he's acting like he is. But how? Regaining a little composure, McCoy reseated himself. Computer, scan for error, he demanded in a shaky voice. There is no error. McCoy stared at Kirk. Tidbit. Worth a get. Find, read, enjoy. Thank you for watching. Do comment down below on any of the Star Trek novels you might have read. Do rate a thumbs up for book reviews, especially Star Trek book reviews. And do check out Star Trek Continues right here on YouTube. And they're working on a 4th episode. Yay! And subscribe. There's always room for one more at the Strange and Exotic. Read long and prosper. Say bye, Phil.